Update Monday the 17th, June 17th, 2024. Blood work today for neurology. Already tried to get it done, and they could have done it while I was at the emergency room. I also went down in person while they were open, and the third time I just missed them, so I know they close early. But every time I've went so far, they've said that they have no blood work orders from my neurologist. Well, my neurologist just asked me on Friday if I got it done. So it must be down there. So I'm going back today to get blood work done at the lab of Wentworth Douglas Hospital, who has already told me several times that they do not see any blood work from my neurologist. Even while I was at the emergency room with separate issues, I asked them while they have a goddamn thing in my arm, and as they work so hard to get my blood, and as it caused me so much shaking and falling out of that chair, I might as well get it all out of me. They said they did get it all. There was no blood work from my neurologist, but yet I'm getting a call that there is. So I have to try to make it down to labs today and get blood work. I also have something to do with Social Security, and I have one more thing that I can't remember on the top of my head. That's the update. I also have kidney pains, but they're a little better today. My GI is actually getting a little worse. It was getting better, but I think I pulled it and I'm making it worse now by moving around so much. And my neurological disorder is loving the heat of June and July. But yet it's still there. After 25 years, you can burn me, you can beat me, you can yell at me, you can call me some faker, you can kick me on the ground, you can pour booze on my back and light me on fire. It doesn't matter what the fuck you do. I am still going to be disabled. Disabled people don't magically get better overnight just because you harass them, call them names, make up fantasies about them, drug them with all different types of drugs like Seroquel, Thorazine, Trazodone, Ritalin, Xanax. Well, Xanax might help, but all those pills don't make you any better. The medications that make you better are epilepsy medications, Ativan, CBDV. These are things that would help me. Not all this bullshit my mother and father used to hide their mistakes during childhood. My father did not know what he was doing, but he was complacent and he did want to not know nothing. He left it in her hands and he ignored on purpose. Any other person on this planet, if they had a child OD'd at their feet and a wife calling and asking for help and then being told to bring them to the emergency room and saying they don't know what they're talking about, hanging up and not doing it. If any other person had the red flags left and right that my father had right in front of them, they would have acted and done something to help the child, and the mother would have definitely went into some type of therapy or program and definitely would have got a lot more help. I mean, his wife thought everybody was out to get her. She was jealous of this new adopted kid's toys. She thought that this new adopted kid was a pet that could be treated any which way she felt like. She thought that drugging the child with poisonous medications that weren't prescribed to him was okie dokie, giving him a full bottle of Ipecac as a punishment and medications to control him and make him quiet. Whatever medication she felt like, with and without doctor's permission, was fine. She was acting all inappropriately, beating him with rulers, smacking him around when doctors tried to help him. She went the opposite way with ballet and pulling him out of doctors, all this crazy shit. Any adult would have stepped in at any time and said, that's enough. But instead, my father just went for the ride. Just went for the ride. Just go with the flow, my father did. My mother wants to just hurt this child. Well, I'm with my wife. Fuck this child. If this child gets hurt, that's his fault. Oh, this child is skinny and dying of underweight. The doctors are saying he has coordination issues. He's bumping in the furniture. His speech has changed. His movements have changed. Well, that's okay. It can't be nothing. Nothing I gotta worry about. So, yeah, my father is a victim. He was lied to, manipulated. He even spent money, or I should say, even had his money taken by scam artists like Via Santa Maria, doctors, pharmaceutical companies, and his wife wanted it that way. His wife set him up good to just keep on spending money for nothing. Just keep on spending money with crazy psychiatrists that were only listening to his wife. I mean, you can't know what a person is like if you're talking to a different person. Like, if you wanted to know my father, do you think the best person to talk to is me? Let's play that game. Well, let's say that. Well, let's say that my father gets to tell everybody what I'm like. Let's say that that's really what it's like. Let's say my father is the best person to know what Zachary is really like. Well, that's not true, but let's say it is. Well, then I, Zachary, am the best person to know what my father is really like. So let's not listen to my father. Let's listen to me, and only me, on understanding what my father is like. No, that would only be one side of the coin. Same way, if you listen to my father, he would be total nonsense about me. My father wasn't even there during my childhood. Like, if you think he was there in my teenage years, guess again. When I was in Haverhill, I got 4 days a month. Actually, let's give him 8. I got 8 days a month where my father saw me and we really spent time. And even then, he tried to avoid me and my mother as much as possible on those 8 days. Okay, let's go to New Mexico, age those 18 months. How about then? Oh, once again, only 1 day a month. I get 1 hour out of 1 day every single month. So that's 1 hour a month for 18 months. Okay, well, does it get any better than that? Well, a little bit. Okay, well, how about in Texas? Oh, well, he is doing his thing. I am trying to relearn school. Yeah, we get to know each other a little bit, but the medications were just pulled away, and he's still being told that I need a bunch of medications, and the doctors say I don't, and I'm talking about an overdose, and now my mother's talking about an attachment disorder and saying that I got to be moved. Oh, well, that doesn't give you a very good understanding of what's going on, does it? So my father does not know anything about his own son, really. He only has a bunch of fantasies that his wife just kind of yelled into him and tried to convince him of. Like, she always had one. She was getting him ready. For instance, my mother knew at the age of 7 that the pills she was giving me have severe side effects and can cause severe illnesses. My mother knew this. She was a nurse. She knew absolutely that medications have severe side effects. Well, how did my mother make sure that when I complained about side effects, that my father wouldn't fucking give a shit? I'm puking horribly, my stomach hurts, I have severe hangovers at the age of 14. How is my mother going to prevent my father from giving a fuck? Well, very simple. She's going to make sure that nobody's allowed to read the side effect list. So whenever I complain about a side effect, my mother will just go, don't blame the meds. But I have a headache this morning and I want it to go away. Don't blame the meds. Well, I'm puking. Don't blame the meds. And then when you try to look up the side effects, my mother wants to make sure that none of the adults, not my father or mother, were ever allowed to read the side effect list of the 8 drugs my mother's pouring into me. On top of this, when me or my father asked to look at the side effects on the paperwork, my mother would promptly drill into us. If you read the list, you'll think you have them. If you read the side effect list, you'll think you have them. You read the side effects list, you'll think you have them. And then, if I did read the side effect list and it matched anything going on in the last 5 years, she had an excuse to drill into my father. He just thinks he has it because he read the list. He just thinks he has it because he read the list. He just thinks he has it because he read the list. But I never read the list, so she never had to use her excuse that she prepared. But yes, she prepared an excuse for my father. She would constantly go, if Zach ever reads the side effect list, he'll think he has all of them. He'll think he has all of them. And if you